We're here at World Time Attack 2014 with Danny from Automotive Plus, and this little MX-5 that Danny's got here for the weekend caught our eye. It's a real work of art. There's a lot of really special features going on, a lot of work that's been put into this car to get it ready for this particular meeting. So we thought we'd take the time to have a chat to Danny, and first of all, let's start with what was the impetus behind building a Mazda MX-5 for World Time Attack?
The impetus behind it is I've always been into MX-5s, and I have a business where we specialise in the service and maintenance and parts supply in Brisbane, Australia.
It makes sense to have a car that's going to support that business then. Yeah. Now, when we look around World Time Attack, obviously this car is reasonably extreme. When you're looking at building a car from scratch, two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive, how much of a disadvantage does two-wheel drive put you at?
It's definitely a disadvantage compared to the four-wheel drives, especially the horsepower that these cars generate, and I'm only putting it through a single axle, so to speak. Yeah, it is a disadvantage, but my focus has been more so on getting the most out of a rear-wheel drive car and that performance. Yeah.
Now, you talked to me earlier about the car's been in the build for about 9 years. I just want to go back. You said originally you were running the Renesis engine, and I think you said you had a supercharger on it?
Originally it was a supercharged Renesis, which I had it in the same similar kit in a road-going RX-8, but it had some inherent design flaws, which gave me concern. I didn't want to invest the time into it to get it right when I'll get the same horsepower and a better result, a more reliable product from the 20B
I think worldwide we haven't really seen anyone pushing the Renesis engines to the level of the older design 13Bs, and obviously 20B you've got more capacity. Let's talk about that engine choice. You're a rotary man from the start, is that why you went that way?
Absolutely, and nothing beats the sound of a 20B PP, but except for a quad rotor, out of a 767.
Okay, so this 20B PP engine, what sort of power is it producing?
It was dynoed last week and it made just under 450 rear wheel horsepower. Yeah.
What sort of revs can you pull in it?
I've been hitting about 10,400 RPM.
Yeah, that'd sound pretty good with a 20B PP at that sort of RPM. Let's talk a little bit about the electronics package. Can you talk us through what you've got controlling this engine?
Yep. Okay, it's essentially a complete Motec setup. So an M800 ECU, we've got a PDM 15 unit, and we've also got their single camera option as well with that.
And I see you've got a dash in there as well, Motec C125?
C125 as well, yes, with the GPS function for lap timing and all that, yes.
And in terms of the data analysis on the car, obviously that's pretty important to get the most out of these cars. What sort of data have you got and what are you logging?
Yeah, we're logging a whole lot of things, not just engine related, of course. We're also measuring diff oil temperature, gearbox oil temp. We've also got our front and rear brake circuit pressures, air temp, air pressure, see if we've got any ram induction, how well that's working. We've also got EGTs on each rotor as well. Yep.
And you sort of had enough track time yet to have a look at any of that data and make changes based on that?
Not as yet, but it has highlighted we've got an issue with our cooling system being too efficient, and the engine coolant temps are too low, and it's causing us to go into a richer part of the mapping, and so we need to increase the engine temp so it drives a bit better. Yeah.
Have you got an easy fix for that? Something you can do on the weekend to get through it?
Yeah, we just got to adjust the programming in the PDM to do that, just to slow the water pump down. That's really the issue. Yeah.
So the PDM, obviously that's a product, power distribution modules are a product we're seeing a lot more prevalent in this form of motorsport now. Can you just talk us through what you're actually using that PDM for?
Yeah, the reason for going to the PDM is it does replace a lot of the solid state electronics that cars used to have, where you got resistors, relays, and fuses, it's all included within it, and you can actually play with the different amperages that you require for different items that you want to control. And it's resettable, so to speak. You're not going to blow a fuse, and you can learn from it. It'll also tell you if, for some reason, an item, say a electric water pump, might normally be running at 15 amps, and all of a sudden it's running at 20. You'll know that there's an issue there. Why is it? And you can deal with it then. That it may be failing or something's jammed it.
So you can data log all of those currents and loads, so if you look at some historic data from the car, you can actually start seeing if something's going to become a problem before it fails.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, let's move a little bit back from the engine. Can you talk to us about the transmission and the differential in it?
Sure. The transmission is a Series 2 RX-8 gearbox. 6-speed, and the diff is a RX-8 housing with a 5.375 ratio. So it gives the car a top speed of about 260 kilometres an hour at the moment.
And do you see those components being up to the torque and power that the 20B is putting out?
I don't have any concerns at all with the diff. Gearbox I think will be okay due to the way the torque delivery of the PP. Uncorrected, I think the peak torque was somewhere in the mid 300 Newton meters. Uncorrected, that was measured at the wheels. Yeah.
Okay, so what first caught our eye, of course, was the bodywork on it. It's pretty extreme. At least that rear clip looks like it's all carbon.
Yep.
What have you done with the bodywork to try and get some aero, some downforce, which again is so prevalent here at World Time Attack?
Yeah, as you said, aero is pretty much everything these days with Time Attack. Horsepower it used to be, but now aero. People in the recent years have been achieving quicker lap times with less horsepower and better aero. And that's the reason we've gone with this. Because I'm naturally aspirated, I can't just wind the boost up, so I need to be more efficient in the aero. This aero package for the car was designed by Andrew Bryant from AMB Aero, and the key focus for him on this car was to maximise downforce but minimise drag. And so that was a different direction for him. Yeah.
Now, Andrew Brilliant's name's been all around the World Time Attack series for the last few years. He's pretty much the key person for aero with any of the top cars. Have you actually got some data? I mean, I doubt you've been in a wind tunnel. Have you got some data on this, or has it sort of been just through his design so far?
Yeah, the design, he uses CFD, computational fluid dynamics, and it's all been done on computer. And he's been able to because he's been involved for so many years now, he's been able to benchmark his other designs and use it against this one. With this car in the right hands and a sequential box, it would be very competitive in the open class and a professional driver. Yeah.
Well, look, obviously, Danny, you're still fairly early on in the development of the car, being this, I think you said, was your debut meeting. So, look, we look forward to seeing how you go over the weekend. Thanks for taking the time to chat to us, and the best of luck for the weekend.
Thank you very much. Great to meet you.
For online tuning courses, visit learntotune.com.